In this video, I'll be building a mech for my favorite figure in the new collectible minifigure series, the Steampunk Inventor. I'll admit it's probably an unpopular opinion, but with great printing all around, dual molded legs, brand new top hat mold, and with a cool and versatile accessory, what's there not to like? I've actually even made my own custom version of a steampunk character in the past. It's cool to see that they share a lot of the same elements, even down to the mechanical arm. I will say, I wish we could have received a hat with the goggles molded again. Regardless, I'm still quite happy with what we ended up getting. He's a perfect candidate for a mech, so that's what we're building for him. Without further ado, let's get started. Beginning with the feet, we'll take this ball socket piece and attach a brick to it. For detail, we're going to be using gold studs to simulate tubing of some sort. Cap it off with this gold slope piece, a brown jumper plate, and finally a cheese slope. That finishes the toe, but still needs some detail. Starting with this brown inverted slope, let's add two bracket pieces where we can place these gold grill pieces to each side, as well as this hinge with a robot arm on each side. May seem a bit strange at first, but once we add it to the previous component, makes a lot more sense in terms of design. Let's quickly repeat those steps for the second foot. Now, let's move on to the legs. I really wanted to make sure that there is knee articulation, so we'll ensure that by adding this smaller ball joint, we'll fill in the gap with the 1x2 plate and add more brackets on the sides, then some 2x2 plates to cover up those studs. The upper thigh will, of course, need one of these ball joints. I'll add gold studs to both the top and bottom. Reason being, I wanted to extend the socket brick like so. Now, we can lock it in with a 2x3 plate and 2x2 on top. It needs a bit of gold, so let's add this bar plate and a grill plate on top. By the way, working with brown pieces is pretty frustrating, just crumbling apart as you use them. Anyway, let's add this jumper plate to finish the thigh, and can now be attached to our previous component as well as the foot. I wanted the machinery of this mech to appear exposed, so once again used this plate with a bar and added to robot arms with these gold claw pieces. Then added it to the knee to make it appear like pistons or something similar, while still having some decent articulation. One last detail would be this gold stud. The legs are now done, so let's work on connecting them somehow. I think an essential element of the steampunk aesthetic are the gears, so let's figure out a way to incorporate them. I started with this double ball joint brick, then added the gear on top. For gold detail, I'll use this weird ring piece. Once we add an axle, we can simply squeeze it in between another gear. Unfortunately, the axle sticks out at the bottom, so let's cover it up with some rounded plates. Now, we can connect the legs together. Looking pretty good so far. Let's move on to probably the hardest part, the torso. I knew I wanted to use these gold exhaust pieces, as well as this dome piece. So that means we need to use this double ratchet plate that it connects to. To incorporate the rounded shape of the dome, we will use this inverted slope plate and extend it with some brown inverted slopes. We also need to add ball joint bricks to connect the arms later. Finally, we can cap them off with some brown slopes. Using two 2x3 plates, we will start to extend the body. We can start filling in the base with some 1x1 bricks on each side. Then this Technic brick. To incorporate some nice snot, let's add this 1x2 bracket, a 1x2 tile, a 1x2 brick, yet another bracket, and finally, cap it with a brown brick. Then we just replicate the same thing on the other side. In order to connect the legs, we will start with this brown Technic brick, then slot in these Technic pins. We'll stack two 1x4 plates. This axle brick is what will connect everything together, and this bracket is where our figure will stand. Now, it's just a matter of filling in the sides with some random details. This component later connects with the Technic pins. Once that's done, we can even things out with the 1x4 brick. For the sides, let's add this plate with a Technic hole on each side to smooth the rest of the empty space. Some slopes. With this plate, we can start to design the torso. These interesting bricks will go on each side. In the middle, two 2x2 jumper plates. Then this circular piece on top with a gold stud to finish things off. Needs a bit more gold so these grill pieces will work nicely. We can finally seal the cockpit. The base is a bit wiggly, so let's lock it, with some slopes and some small details in the gaps. In the Technic holes is where the exhaust pipes will be connected. With the torso done, let's connect it to the legs through the axle. Looking great so far, but it definitely needs some more exhaust pipes, so let's add them. Much better, so let's seal in the back. Time for the arms. We'll use a lot of the same techniques as the legs. Starting with a ball socket brick, we will place a bracket under, applying a mixel joint and locking it in with a slope piece, as well as these circular plates. Let's add yet another bracket and fill in the rest with these gold bird beak pieces in the back, then seal them with some brown plates to finish off the bicep. I went really simplistic with the forearm by using this cylindrical brick and added plates on both top and bottom. In order to connect it to the bicep, we will use this bar with ball joint piece. For the hand, this bar plate will be perfect to add the fingers to. Next, this plate with clips will go under. Then this T-bar is what will connect it to the forearm. Before that, though, let's cover up the studs with this cheese plate and add a thumb. Now, add it to the rest of the arm. This is a reminder to like the video and subscribe. Otherwise, now for the other arm. I want to simulate the asymmetrical design of the figure. I thought a perfect way to do that was, instead of an arm, a giant blaster. This brown thruster piece is perfect for that purpose. Now, the bicep is largely similar except for a couple things. I wanted to add this car piece with the useful sticker fitting the theme. I'll incorporate it with these 1x1 clip pieces, and once again, this plate with a bar. And it wraps around the shoulder really nice. Now time to attach them to the rest of the mech. Now, although largely unnecessary, due to it already having a giant blaster, I wanted it to wield a weapon. So using a bunch of these candle pieces, we can make a hammer. Now let's just clip pieces to the hand so he can hold it. Finally, with the mech complete, we can add the pilot. I put his accessory in the back in order for the figure to fit nicely inside. Here's a 360 view of the mech. I'm genuinely surprised by how good this mech ended up. I wasn't sure I would have a good selection of brown and gold pieces to make it happen, but in the end came out really nice. I think it's pretty clear to see that. I was greatly inspired by another YouTube creator you may already know of, Firebird Bricks. Lego mechs are kind of his thing, and definitely a great channel. I recommend if that's your thing as well. It was very satisfying to design and build this mock. I look forward to working on some more builds in the future. I know I got a couple ideas for a certain other collectible figure I intend to share in the future. Anyway, bye for now.